Welcome back. This is the SMG Blacklist podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jack Wengroski, number 23, which is hearkening back to Michael Jordan. And with me is...
Melissa Maxey, number 13.
All right. Well, here we have the front, which is number... What is it again?
74.
74. It is the front. It is a terrorist organization that they thought was destroyed, but kind of stayed underground and kind of gets into Red's attention. They've put kind of everything together from a little blurb in the news about this lady that gets killed in an accident.
Yeah, which leads to a huge conspiracy dating back to the times of the Black Death.
So, yeah, we got, 1400s, 1500s, but the woman that got killed in the car accident, now she didn't look like she had the full-on disease, but she was bleeding. Now, was it from an attack, or were they actually...
No, she was exposed to the virus.
Because she really didn't have, like, the full-on sores and stuff. We really hadn't seen that yet, but I guess we were kind of assuming that she was early on in the exposure and then got killed by the car. So it turns out the guy that, they were kind of wrestling, and he kind of throws her out in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out this guy is actually her husband. And which was just a little kind of... That was a little
and
weird.
not only that, she was pregnant and had 700-year-old clay under her fingernails.
Right. And so, that really kind of brings us back to where we got to the painting. And so, we're really kind of back to the list this time, I think. We got so sidetracked with all the people that it was kind of refreshing just to have a little bit of one of Red's just kind of straight off cases. At least it kind of started that way.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that when they were searching for, when they had looking for the map and they were going through all their trying to figure out where everything was at. That kind of reminded me of that movie.
The Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, the Da Vinci Code. Yeah. But other people were referring it to the other one with Nicolas Cage, the movie where he's hunting for the lost treasures.
Oh, the national treasure.
National treasure. I'm like, I prefer Tom Hanks. Hey, wait, did I say that out loud?
I could find something on the back of this document. The really. My very little impersonation of...
I had to rewind the part where Amar was going through the mathematical, those code pieces. I rewound that 3 times. I was like, this is awesome!
Oh yeah, he was just, this is 51,000 feet. Well, what would it be in cubits? Well, in that case... there's 200 per... Oh, yeah, that would be, 50,000 cubits, which would be, 32 miles, and Samar just look, gives him...
rule.
Right. Giving him the look, what the heck? So, yeah, we had quite a little typical, trademark style opening, and, Carrie Ann running away. Maddox is our protagonist, and apparently he's part of this front, and they want to eliminate the human race from the Earth because the humans are the ones are ruining the Earth. So if we get rid of all the humans, then we won't have all these animals that are becoming extinct and the destruction of the planet. And of course, with many of these guys, very rarely do they sacrifice themselves. And
right.
Of course, I don't know why, but I kind of saw it coming. But this guy definitely is a nutcase, and he's propagated this 700-year-old strain of not the bleh, I can't speak.
It's the Black Plague.
Yeah,
pneumonic plague.
Pneumonic plague.
Pneumonic.
And which
pneumonia.
The bubonic plague was the one that was carried by the mice and rodents and rats.
Yeah.
And so the pneumonic is carried through the air. And so they get a hold of this strain by kind of analyzing this painting, which has a UV kind of...
Well, it was said that there were priests that they hid it. They were bones that they'd hidden. And so they left a map and they were in these paintings, so they were trying to find the map pieces, like the locations, and it was coded pretty well.
Yeah, so all they had to do,
Da Vinci Code.
They showed an ultraviolet light on the painting, and we get this old world map, and of course, the ends of the earth at that point was the New World, which was the Americas. And so we find ourselves right in the middle of New York City, which I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, in a church catacomb. That was awesome.
And that church, that cathedral was the oldest, landmark oldest church in New York. So they kind of used an actual architectural kind of feature of New York, which was pretty cool.
The part that was kind of crazy is, Liz was going after this guy in the catacombs without a suit and no back. He's like, I'm gonna expose you. You're not gonna, you can't do anything. You know? And so, it was just strange that she just didn't, she's kind of all rogue Liz.
I know, they make her to where she really thinks she's got a chance against a sniper, but she can't handle the guy with a bag of bones. Really? What would have done if he had dropped that bag of bones? I don't know that, and, I did see a little on the internet that kind of poked fun at that a little bit. Letting the guy go and spreading this thing around the earth was taking less of a risk than if she'd have just shot him. Of course, then the episode would have been over, and...
yeah, there would have been.
So, to get the rest of the episode, you have to... But yeah, I think that was a little kind of cheesy writing. They should have...
Well, I thought it was interesting that Liz hired that girl to body double her while she was, taking off for hours at a time during the workday.
Well, here's the funny thing that...
What are you doing, Liz? Where are you going?
Yeah, well, here's the other thing, was the body double went up to the shrink and, talked to the shrink and then came back down and Liz waited there. But it felt like, that's when he saw her coming out the front door. Maybe there wasn't a back door, but that would have been a good time while he saw the back of her head upstairs. That's the time where you sneak out and get away. But she stayed there and then walks back out the front. So I didn't quite get that. So,
I'm sure she snuck out the back and then came back.
No, it looked like she waited there.
Great time and then.
Yeah. She definitely didn't go away to door number 1 while she was there, because we know she went there during the night, but no. There were a couple little weaknesses in the episode, I think. But,
well, and, Red the whole time he's not even really involved in the case. He's doing his own thing, and he's looking for Jennifer. He's got to find the girl. It's like the whole episode he's frantic to find the girl, and the DMV scene was just hilarious. He's sitting next to that kid, just handing him gummy pieces to eat. I'm like, don't take candy from me. I'm definitely not the DMV. Have you been to your own DMV?
Oh, but that was cute.
DMV.
And
like,
it was a...
sit in the chair.
But it was a gummy bear, and it was right out of the bag. It wasn't off the floor, so...
What I'm talking about is the kid's hands.
Well, how do you think people got immune to all these diseases in the first place? People wash their hands now when they get contact with air and figure, if I wash my hands, I won't get anything. I'm sorry, life doesn't work like that. There's like 10 billion germs on your hand at any given time, and having three more is not going to make a big difference. But
I thought it was funny what Red was talking. He was yelling at that guy in the DMV about not finding the girl and making up all these excuses.
My mother died. Yeah, and your brother-in-law had Legionnaire's disease.
And I was like, wait a minute. Are you off because you do the same thing? I know, but Red does the same thing. People try to, get information out of him, and what does he do? He goes into a drawn-out story about something.
Exactly. He says it's as if when he talked about watching people use the broken soda machine, it's as if you want to frustrate people. It says, I work at the DMV. It's what we do. I liked.
That's what we do.
I liked what he said. He said to the guy. He said, "Your mouth runs like a scalded dog." I mean,
yeah.
What a great little kind of a mental picture. Although I don't think I've ever heard that phrase before.
I've never heard that phrase before.
So I wonder if they actually are these old sayings, or are they things that they just really come up with for Red? Because that was very Red-like.
Yeah, it was. When he's on that compound with all those people, and, he has them all gathered around about the end of the world, and they're going to sacrifice themselves, and, there's the tree light in the background hanging with all the glass hanging from it.
Yeah, that kind of
I thought they did.
That kind of reminded me of Jonestown with the Kool-Aid. Like, everybody, instead of drinking the Kool-Aid, they're inhaling the virus.
Yeah, because, he did testing it out on his people before he goes out into public with it.
Can you feel it? Yes.
Oh, my favorite scene?
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes at the airport with Star chasing that guy down. That was awesome. And then, the background music they're playing, she was chasing him through the crowd. That was so awesome.
That was.
And she tackled him, and they went in that room, and she tackled him, and they slow motioned it while he sprayed her. I was just like, oh my God.
That was very dramatic, but it kind of angered me a little bit that this, really heavy-duty Mossad agent was taken down by, the Nutty Crunchy guy. She should have been able to subdue him with absolutely no problem. Not only does he tackles her, he takes her weapon and
shoots her.
Yeah, sprays the stuff directly in her mouth, and then shoots her. And of course, then Liz has to pop one, right through his back to take him out. I was like, man, what happened to the really good Mossad agent?
What it made was a really great scene between Liz and Samar, which is what I was looking for and what I've been looking for the past several episodes. Because we all know Liz needs to trust Samar, and this is the perfect bonding moment. So here they are, a scene out of Star Trek where she's on one side and she's on the other. Oh, come in, can't come in. You can't save me. But what does Liz do? She goes through the door.
Right.
She goes through the door so she can help Samar so she doesn't bleed out. And they have that intimate conversation about Liz talking about Tom and the life that she thought she was going to have and the child she thought she was going to have. And they talk about the lady's baby that was saved, that's in the NICU, and how they're going to get out of there so that they can save the baby.
Yeah, now, was that the happy female couple there? They're going to raise the baby together, or? I mean,
yeah.
No. I mean,
no,
almost.
I didn't think it was like that. Did you?
I don't know. I got a little bit of a, I got a little bit of a vibe there. Now that it's, now that same-sex marriage is legal in 34 states, I figure maybe they were going that direction until
maybe
until computer guy at the very end is at Samara's bedside, and she goes to what's his name?
Amar
and Samar. Yeah, that's not. That's a couple just waiting to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, they already made that happen.
So, yeah, because at first, I think he had a little man crush on her, but, it was like, she's Mossad, he's FBI, and probably Persian, which that with a Israeli agent really probably not going to work.
I don't know, they're trying to, bring back the NCIS, Tony and Ziva. I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, because it's either that or...
I'm like, please make that happen.
Well, it's either that or her and Liz raise a baby together.
Oh, for that too.
So, yeah,
when Liz was looking at that baby, I wouldn't be surprised if she adopted it.
I would not be surprised at all. This seems like...
For all the,
Seems like her chance.
Well, and, Red goes to Amar to get help from him after he can't get help from the DMV. And what does Amar do? He paddles.
Oh, yeah, what a goober. Yeah.
I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, this is good because that means there'll be a scene between Liz and Red. And there was. It was perfect. Yeah. And it was, I was awesome because Red was like, this isn't going to change our relationship, finding the girl.
Right.
And he never said, once did he say that was his daughter. Never once did he say it. And he talked about her being jealous.
That was
relationship. About him finding this girl.
Right. I don't know. I mean, at this point, she's bungled so many things. Like, really, are you gonna threaten Red with something and he's actually going to believe it? Because they really...
She's still acting like a teenager, that's rebelling against everything. It's like she's, talking to Samar about how he was totally right, that she was jealous about him waiting for this girl.
Yeah, I thought that was a weird way to tie into it. It's like, yeah, he accused me of being jealous, and the worst part about it is he's right, because I want Red all to myself. It's like, God, you're such a petulant little kid. Like, come on, Liz, put it back together. Let's kick some butt.
I want it to be like that. I totally want it to be that way. I want her to I mean, even though she said she doesn't need Red in her life, she totally does.
Yeah.
And I want her to want that. I want her to want him in her life, and she's kind of fighting it. And he's just letting her find a way.
They've drawn that out just so much. And
That's because we love it.
And they're advertising that we're going to find out what's behind the door next week. And last week they advertised that, all the secrets would be revealed and blah, 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 or all the loose ends would be tied, and, finally, at last...
We did learn a little bit more about the secret. Yeah, we did find out a little bit more about what's behind the door, because, the guy that came out, I was like, is he the torturer? Is he the one that goes in and, is torturing the person? Or is there something else going on behind the door, and it's not a torture session?
Maybe it's like a big... Maybe it's a big fight club.
Maybe. Everybody's speculating that it's Berlin behind the door. They're like, maybe it's Berlin. Maybe she has Berlin.
No.
But I'm like,
Berlin came in, he got his money, and went back out. I really started to wonder whether or not Berlin was still a factor. The only thing that kind of gave me the clue it wasn't was finally, in this episode, he says, I need that girl because... it's imperative in my war against Berlin. Which, by all accounts...
So she must have some sort of information. She's Naomi's daughter, so what exactly was Naomi? Was she, CIA? Was she...
I don't know. Well, Naomi was his ex-wife.
Well, yeah, but she still seemed like she I don't know. She wasn't like a stay-at-home mom wife.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, she she performed under torture, so
yeah, she has skills.
Yeah.
She has knowledge. So her daughter, who's her daughter? It's not. I don't think it's Red's daughter. I don't think Jennifer's Red's daughter.
No,
like
because
everybody.
Right, because she would have said our daughter. She said my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which makes you think that this is from a, you know, maybe as like at best maybe a stepdaughter. But he looked at the video and at longing, you know, for his what used to be his little girl, and then they go straight to looking at
him finding her
and
working in a food truck.
Right, and kind of giving that same look, like this is the girl that was in the movie. It's like, you know, so is that Elizabeth?
Oh,
it actually looked more like the girl from the truck. So, you know, they're. You know, where does that leave us with Liz?
Speaking of the girl from the truck,
yeah.
I still think that that's something else. I don't think that she's Red's daughter. I think that they just did that to throw us off. You know, the correlation.
Well, they've
done that before in the past.
That's true, especially since they haven't answered any of these silly questions that they have going. They could play with this girl for another 5 episodes.
But the girl, I like Scotty Thompson. She was in NCIS. She was Denozo's doctor girlfriend who was undercover. So, and I like her. She's a great actress. So I think she's a good addition to the Blacklist. I think I can't wait to, they showed some preview shots for next week, and it looks like one of the pictures is her sitting on a bench, and Red's hat is there, like on the bench. She stood up, and she recognizes something. She looks around. She's looking around to see where he's at. And, so I'm looking forward to Red and her talking. I'm hoping the show is some sort of conversation or something, so we can get an idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
And next week's episode is going to be crazy too.
Yeah, because now they're saying
Red's.
Yes.
Conference. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
All right.
Not after I've always already said yes.
Well, you know, with next week's episode is going to have a little more of like wrestler in it. We haven't seen him at all. He was hardly in this episode at all, except for the team meeting and, you know, a little chase down scene, but that's it.
Yeah, and how do you put a major drug addiction completely on hold? Like,
I know, seriously, like 2 episodes or more.
I want to get to these writers and just like, what are you doing? Like, you know, you've completely abandoned the war with Berlin. You've completely abandoned the fact that one of your characters is completely addicted to pain pills and barely able to do his job. Yet, you know, for the last 3 episodes, he's
been perfectly fine.
Right. So what was with
and Harold is. Do you know Harold? In the scene that he was in, where he was walking and how he's limping a lot more.
Yeah. Well, I think. You know, he's got the cane. I think the thing is he's supposed to get rid of that cane soon. So I think the implication is from, you know, what they're saying kind of in the little news stories that, and some of his actual tweets that he'll be losing that cane. So I think now he's kind of supposedly, you know, getting around without it. But I didn't notice much of that.
I just noticed that he was still limping pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And, you know, they kind of dropped that whole thing about him having some sort of, you know, terminal illness, maybe.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know. It kind of contradicts what he had a little banter, if you follow our Twitter, kind of a little banter back and forth about Red's hat, and Spader actually got back to, you know, Harry Lennox's Twitter and said, oh, you know, hey, you're rocking the cane. He says, but I'm not going to have it much longer. Of course, maybe if his character, you know, dies of some serious disease, then he won't need the cane whatsoever.
Need the cane. No, they won't do that. They can't kill it. No, they may kill off a few more people by the end of the season. That's probably the trend.
Yeah. Talking about Harold and the cane, we're kind of headed towards the sniper. What did you call him?
Mr. Frisk. because she frisked him. It was awesome.
So he's got his eye on what he thinks is Liz, and gets a phone call from Red and says, "What did he say? I think she may be acting out a little bit or trying to take advantage of the situation."
Yeah, and as he looks out his window towards her window, she's like doing a striptease. She's taking off her shirt and her bra, and she writes on with lipstick, "Bite me."
Oh, that was hilarious. And I'm thinking, she's going to get this guy to come over, and she's bungled so many things, but she's going to go over and either eliminate this guy or capture him, and then it's not even her.
No. It's her body double. I was so disappointed.
It's faux Liz.
And he was talking to Red, and he was kind of giggling, and I'm like, is he blushing?
Good God. So, let's see, then we get to the very end, and, so we talked about Liz getting infected, and of course the moment Red finds that out, all of a sudden he goes straight to the compound, which Aram has just found, and he must have already known it was there because it's okay, Liz is infected. He goes, gets the antidote, and pretty much ties up Pepper and has to kind of calm Beck down.
Yeah, because he knew Pepper. He knew her from before. Like shifty eyes Pepper.
I know. Who was supposed to
tell him? Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't even. Yeah, they got so she pulls the key out of the bottle. We still don't know what their relationship was.
No, or what the key is for.
So, Red saves the entire planet by getting all the antidote, and of course all the 2,000 people, of this, plague get cured, and of course, it kind of sets up a scene between Samar and Aram, and, where she wakes up and, holds his hand, and
he's all happy.
Yeah. And of course Liz, she's in recovery, and she didn't wake up yet, but he puts the recording in her ear, and what was it? You were
born.
You were born, and it just they picked just, of course, the tune that almost screams, "You are my daughter,"
which we still think is the case.
Yeah, and who's to say that maybe he doesn't have two daughters, because this other one that I had her name here and I lost it. But Zoe. Yeah, so we're going to find out, was that his daughter, or is it just his ex-wife's? And is he trying to protect her, or does she have information? And of course, she is key into this war with Berlin, which we thought was almost over.
Yeah, I wonder what is. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait for the interaction between Red and her, because Red just gonna, how are they gonna meet?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be a subtle thing? Like the picture I saw for the episode for next week. It shows her on a bench, and she's like his hat is there, and she picks it up and looks around like she's looking for him.
And so we'll find out that, and maybe what's behind the door, because at the very end, of course, Liz goes in the middle of the night when she's really not supposed to be there. And of course, there's a lot of conjecture whether or not Tom's there, or if this is some sort of other operation.
Yeah. I'm thinking it could be another operation, because if it was Tom, she would have more information.
That's true. Maybe.
And how did she get Tom? I mean, he was wounded. How did she get him out of there and into this? I mean, unless she called another team and they came and picked him up. Because she said she'd take care of him.
Yeah.
She said maybe she had her own agenda to begin with. And we talked about that.
Maybe it's Liz's Fight Club.
I don't think Tom's going to make it in the ring with a bouncer.
Not with half his guts blown out.
Yeah, no.
So, who knows? Maybe he's, maybe they've got him in like a coma, and they're trying to
use his brainwaves.
Well, Well, maybe they're trying to get him back so that they can get information from him. Like, this is like some weird hospital setup, and
Maybe that could be a possibility.
at that point, why not just take him back to the FBI? But maybe she's that's a possibility too. Is she's trying to revive him, but we will.
There's lots of things that we could think are behind the door. Everybody has their own speculations. They're saying they think it's Berlin, which we don't believe. Most people think it's Tom.
I don't see how it could be Berlin if Berlin got a free pass and let Red go, which almost doesn't even make sense because we already know that Red wasn't the one that got his daughter killed in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think we almost kind of forget this.
That's kind of one of the questions that we have that maybe is going to tie into all of this.
Yeah. So, I think we've been promised this next week, so I think we're just going to have to kind of look forward to that and hope that they feed us a little more of this next time.
Yeah, with Wrestler getting captured. What'd you say was... Didn't you say there was something about the capture that was...
Oh, yeah, of course, next week, Wrestler gets caught up in this human hunting ring, and, of course, they've rehashed that from, like, every 1980s movie where, the human is the hunted, and
on an island.
On an island, right. Although this one is the first time where I've seen him use, like, a cow ear tag. And so they, like, pop this thing right through his ear. I'm thinking, man, for any of us that had our ears pierced, you go through that cartilage, it hurts. So...
Yeah, and since he's on pain meds, I wonder where he's hiding all those.
Well, that may be how they kind of get through the last part of this story, because... he's going to have to go through withdrawal. So
it'll make him crazy.
It would be, and
he'll be like out of his mind crazy.
He will, but it also kind of gets us back out of. It's an easy out for the series to have him kind of go through all this, and and then it's done.
Well, we've been waiting for it because the last couple episodes they haven't even addressed that he has an addiction.
Yeah. How do you?
And that we know that he has.
How do you completely forget about a guy that can't function because he's on so much pain meds?
They didn't even show him like hiding behind the corner, like popping pills, or or sweating really profusely when they're chasing in the tunnels in the catacombs. Nothing.
Well, nobody notices when I sweat profusely. So I don't know.
No gasping for breath, popping another pill.
Oh, with me it's donuts. It's not pills. I have an addiction to pumpkin donuts from Dunkin'.
Oh! I have an addiction to having coffee at midnight.
Oh, see, that's probably why you're up. Talking to the likes of other podcasters.
That's right.
Well, do you have anything else?
No, I think that covers it.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. This was the SMG Blacklist podcast, brought to you by the Southgate Media Group, where you can go to their website at www.southgatemediagroup.com. My Twitter is @JWingrowski, and for the rest, Melissa?
@MSMaxi.
And the show?
It's Blacklist Pod, and our Instagram and Tumblr accounts are The Blacklist Pod.
Awesome. Well, I guess we will get answers next week, and I guess until then.
See you then.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.